Welcome to Practice, Practice, Practice. Nick Liebman, your host here, and I'm really glad you're joining me today to practice. First, we're just gonna stretch out our wrists a little bit, and I want to mention something about practicing. You're not gonna one day of practice. You might learn something, you might master a little something, but practice is not about a single day of practice. Practice is about coming back again and again, working on the basics, the fundamentals, and improving incrementally. So you might not see from Tuesday to Wednesday a big change, but from January to March, you might see a real change. And that happens bit by bit, day by day, while you practice. The other thing about it is you're a different person every day. Your days are different. Some days are easy, some days are hard, some days are full of inspiration, some days you just want to go to sleep. So every day is different. You're different a little bit every day. So to have a regular practice, to come and play every day, you also learn a little bit about yourself. I'll be honest with you, there are days when I practice when I feel like I don't accomplish anything. And then there are days that feel really solid, like I've done important work. You need them all. You need them every day, and you need the discipline to keep coming back. That's why we're here. We're going to tune. It's E, A, D, G. We're in good shape so far. B. Look at that. Completely in tune. Very proud of this one. So I was asking around online a little bit earlier today about what kinds of things people want to practice, and I got a few responses. One of them, everything, all that music garbage, all that stuff. And shout out to the Butler crew for those responses. But also a good friend of mine, Justin, mentioned anything that's not just playing an open chord as loud as I can. That's most of my playing, and I want to move beyond that. So I'm going to try something that actually I learned from a teacher that I had back in summer camp when I was 12, maybe 11, 12, 13 years old. His name was Mitch, and he ran the guitar class that we had at my summer camp. And every day we'd come in, and he'd say, "Chromatics, boys, chromatics." What are chromatics? The pitches that are one half step away from each other, so like an E and an F, it's a chromatic movement. It's just a term that means not necessarily diatonically, like according to a major scale. So the G chromatic scale would be 12 half steps starting a G, ending a G, etc. So what did Mitch mean when he came in to class to say, "Okay, boys, chromatics, get on your chromatics"? This is what we would do. Oops. It's a chromatic run all the way up from your open E string to the 5th fret of your high E string and back down again. That was chromatics, and he wanted us to do that for the first 2 to 5 minutes of every class. Individually, we would just sit there and work on chromatics. What is this helping us learn? What are we rehearsing when we do this? A couple of things. First, we're trying to smoothly move in both in rhythm and in the timbre, the quality of the sound that you're getting. You want everything to be nice and even, right? So you're working on being able to draw out a similar sound from different kinds of strings at different levels of pitch. And you're also working on a little bit on the right hand as well. For instance, one of the techniques that I like to practice when I'm doing chromatics is something called double picking. I'm going to show you double picking right here. Instead of plucking downward, picking downward like this. So if I were going to do that, I'd go. I can move twice as fast if I, just like when I have an up strum, I can have an up pick as well. So a double picking looks more like this. See how that second one is on the up? So you can move faster, you can get through those notes faster, you can pick them with half the effort when you're double picking. So you're trying to get even with your sound, be nice and steady with your rhythm, do it with the least amount of work possible on your right hand, and then finally, of course, like the real point of this, you're working on your individual dexterity, your muscle memory for how to move around these frets, and you're also getting to know the strings. Because as we go open 1, 2, 3, 4, we could move up to 5, but the 5th fret of the E string is the same as the A string open. So you're also learning about where these break points are for your pitches and how to move to the next string. This comes in handy when you're learning how to solo, when there isn't necessarily one way to play a note, and it's up to you to play it in the way that's going to sound the best, be easy for you to play, be connected to where you are in the neck of the guitar and things like that. This is part of really learning the instrument, is having an intuitive sense of how to switch from one register to the next, when and how to do that. So chromatics help you do that as well. So here we go. Join with me. We're going to do chromatics. I'm going to try and be as steady as possible, and the goal is we just do this for a solid 3 minutes. So join me. Here we go. we go. That was about 3 minutes of Chromatics. Tried to make it a little more exciting there at the end, pick up the tempo, but you get the idea. That is one way that you can practice something that's not playing a chord as hard as you can, but will get you ready for when you're ready to tackle scales, soloing, or any other kinds of flourishes or passing tones that you're adding to your playing. Okay? So today, for a cover, I have a song that has nothing to do with any of the technique we just learned, although it does help you look at a different set of chords than maybe your standard 1-4-5 setup. So just 1 second while I pull up what I need. Okay, this song is an Amy Winehouse song. It's a song that I used to play back in Chicago, I believe at the second date shows at Wang's in Lakeview, which were a community establishment, 2014, 2015, around then, with Andrew Saw and Dylan, a whole bunch of different crew. Wes Perry was a part of that. So if you know any of those guys, or if any of those guys are watching, hey, fun times, great times. This song is uses C major 7, a major, very important chord here. This is a C major 7. It's formed just like a C chord without your index finger, without the first finger. You leave the B string open to form that major 7. Excuse the traffic outside, sorry about that. And this chord is major 7 chords sound unresolved, right? Because that's nice and square, and we've got our C's really framing the chord so it sounds nice and solid. But if we have, all of a sudden we introduce this element of dissonance that wants to resolve itself. So this is a very unsettled chord for a very unsettled song. Without further ado, Love is a Losing Game. Five-story fire as you came. Love is a losing game. What I wish I never played. Oh, what a mess we made. Now the final frame. Love is a losing game. Played out by the band. Love is a losing hand. More than I could stand. Love is a losing hand. Self-professed and profound, till all the chips were down. No, you're gambling man. Love is a losing hand. Though I'm rather blind, love is a fake sign. Memories mar my mind, and love is a fairy sign. Oh, for futile arts, So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got some good practice. Please check out, there's playlists here of tracks to practice along to if you want to play that Amy Winehouse song. Also other practice tracks, and please subscribe to Nick Liebman Music. Have an awesome day, and I will see you tomorrow.